Welcome to 5 Minutes with Sean, and maybe 10. Today's episode is all about the dreaded online meeting. As someone whose life it is to sit through and demo products on behalf of clients, I can tell you firsthand that online meetings still suck. And I wonder why that is. I mean, with all of the opportunities out there, Join.me, everyone else, Google Hangouts, etc., there is still a really crappy side of this whole thing. And some of it comes from user issues. Some of it comes from the tech that you actually use to have it. And this isn't really a serious, podcast. It's one of those ones I've just been thinking about and thought to myself, does anyone else just hate the way that we do this currently? And is there a better way? Is there a software maybe I'm not aware of that I don't use that can help me? Because there's plenty of tech issues. All of a sudden the video screen goes out. All of a sudden, audio doesn't work. People are, has this ever happened to you where you get into a meeting and there's already a meeting going on because companies share Join.me accounts and all of a sudden you're just sitting in on someone else's meeting? It's happened to me more than once, so I don't pretend like it's not actually happening to other people. There's also, when you separate yourself from the actual technology of online meetings and you look at the actual user side of it, there's a couple things about users that kind of drive me nuts. One, people who present on these typically tend to talk over and don't stop talking, and I find that to be a little bit frustrating from the standpoint of trying to learn and understand things, ask questions, have engagement. And again, remember, we're speaking in generality, so if you are a vendor who doesn't do this and has the perfect online meeting, then wonderful, stop listening. But for those of you who struggle with it, here's a little feedback. Number one, lighten up the size of your decks when you're doing online meetings. Just in general, lighten up the size of your decks. 12 to 15 slides is all you should need to sell anyone anything in 35 minutes to 1 hour. Period. You just shouldn't need more than that. So you need to just slow down with the number of decks and points. Try to have a conversation. Try not to just sit there and present deck slide by deck slide by deck slide. Try to have a little bit of personality added to it if you can. More importantly, I've had this happen to me. If we're going to use a visual tool like a Join.me or even a Google Hangout, make sure you use the actual visual tool. I was on a call recently where a vendor decided, hey, just pull up the email. Take a look. I got a call 5 minutes after the meeting was over from the dealer going, what in the hell was that? Why am I on screen sharing software and having to look up my own emails, find things, try to follow along when we could have all been staring at the same screen? My reply was, yes, you're correct. And I will make sure that we have a conversation. Things like that don't happen again. It happens. But if we're using a visual tool, why would we not be using the visual tool? And it didn't just happen here. It's happened before. Also, is everyone aware here in America that we have separate time zones? Is that a thing everyone knows about? Because it seems like when I get meeting invites or I get questions about invites, it's typically around, oh, I thought we were doing my time zone, not yours. Why is that not brought up? I try to bring it up as often as possible in conversation because I work with clients from the Pacific Northwest to New York, so I want to know exactly within what I'm trying to get done, what time it is for them. I routinely go to Google and ask, what time is it in Boise, Idaho? I know it's only an hour behind me, but I want to make sure before we have the invite sent out. And full disclosure, my team takes care of most of those things for me, so I am not the guy that has to pick the time zone. So there might be some difficulty in that actual part of it. But again, not positive on how it works. So when you're doing your online meeting, make sure you have consideration for people's time. If you put aside a half-hour meeting, you best be done in 22 minutes with 8 minutes for questions. Because if we hit the 30-minute mark and you're still talking, I cut meetings off. The dealer, the client, whomever's sitting there gave you that spot of time. If you wanted an hour meeting, you should have sent out an invite for an hour meeting. Okay? That's a reality. So again, I sit through these every day of my life on behalf of my clients so they don't have to sit here. I've also been abandoned at online meetings. The vendor never showed. Never. Can you imagine if that were a dealer? Now I always say, to my team internally and my clients, it probably would have never happened if you, dealer, were on the phone, because people tend to forget that while I am on the phone, I represent 50 plus clients. So you may as well imagine 50 owners standing behind me. But it doesn't happen all the time, and that's fine. No big deal. But you blow me off. And the best part is this particular vendor, right? They blow me off. I get a call, I don't know, let's just call it 72 hours later. So, Sean, I was wondering if we could set up an online meeting, or perhaps we could meet up at the next big show, which was out in Vegas. My answer was, well, yeah, are you going to show up this time? Well, what do you mean? Well, I mean, we had a call 3 days ago and you blew me off. Oh, I did? Well, when did you want to reschedule? I don't. Pass. Guys, in what world do you think that I need to beg for your business or time? I mean, really, seriously, where do you think that, let me do this. Let me go ahead and put another hour of my time aside so you can blow me off. Or better yet, let me go to Vegas, meet with you, and talk with you while I can be out talking with other actual dealers. Pass, dude. Give me a break. You should have shown up the first time. You don't always get a second chance. So let's recap. If we're going to do online meetings, let's make sure we know what time zone we're in and the client's in. 2, if we're going to use screen sharing technology, share your damn screen. There are no other ways about going about doing business, period. 3, be conscious of people's time, okay? Be conscious of people's time. And 4, shorten your decks and talk less, ask more questions. That's what I got for you today. As always, feedback is welcome to the text and phone number line, 262-278-0157. You can also email me, Sean, SEAN, @CarBizDoneBetter. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you in the next 5 minutes, and have a great day.